Hello, everyone, and welcome to Realty, sponsored by Pixel Realty. My name is Benjamin Maynard, principal broker of Pixel Realty, and I'm here with my fabulous co-host, Mr. Ted Bogert of Leader One Financial,
Hey,
and a
Ben.
million other things.
A million other things.
How are you today?
I'm
You look
good. How are you?
good. You look spiffy.
Well,
Per
thank you. You know, I
always,
got pink
always.
shoes on. Can't see
Yeah.
those, but it's got to match a little bit.
It's summer. I think
It's
with
summer.
this pillow, it looks like I'm naked, but I'm already in. I'm already.
That's
in
another
summer
show,
mode.
Ben.
I know. I'm already in summer mode, so I don't really dress up in the summer. It's too
Good for
hot.
you. Oh
It's
my God,
Florida.
it's ridiculously
It's
hot.
like a swamp out there.
It is a swamp.
So yeah,
I'm excited to be back.
yeah, we're excited. We talked about lead gen a little bit last week, so I thought maybe we would just dive into that one and get some
Such a fun cesspool
scoop on
of
that.
information and lead gen, isn't there?
Oh, so much, so much. One of my biggest things with lead gen, I'm just gonna jump right into the tea.
Let's start. Let's hit the T running. I like it.
The amount of real estate agents that meet with me and they're like, well, what is your lead gen? What are you going to give me? And I can't tell you how many times as a real estate agent through those years that I was promised the world.
Yes.
And they just never delivered. They were like, oh, yeah, you'll get like 10 leads a month and, assistants and all of this stuff. And then I was young and dumb and hungry. And
I don't know where we were going with that.
I didn't really realize what questions to ask and stuff back then. I didn't ask where the leads were coming from, how much they were vetted, and all of this stuff.
We give up so much on the lead gen. I feel like realtors in general think that lead gen's the answer, and it's because they've been spoon-fed this crap that lead gen is where it's at. And they don't even know how to generate their own leads. So they get reliant on leads that are provided by all of these big services. And then the leads end up either being shared with 100 different agents, or you're making 30% commission instead of the commission you'd want to make, or you're getting so much less money and spending a lot of time on leads that are pretty much worthless at the end of the day, statistically.
Yeah. I mean, I've paid for lead gen. I paid for that blue logo that we don't name. They back then they did zip codes. I think some areas still do it, but Orlando's on like Flex now, I think.
Yes.
So you can't even pay per zip code.
No.
Which you have to be invited in for Flex, which is another scam in my opinion. Because they end up taking like 50% of off the top. So like if you get a Zillow lead, it's 50% off the top, and then you have to take that split back to your agency, and some of them are 20% splits. So like you get 80%, and then some of them are 70-30, some of them are 50-50. And then if you have a team, then it's another split with that team lead.
Yes.
So by the end of it, some of these agents I see are getting like $2,000-$3,000 on a $20,000 sale. I'm baffled as to why you wouldn't work your inner, like your circle.
Well, I think people don't. A lot of realtors, especially if you've come in since the pandemic, you don't know how to work your sphere. Right. You've heard about it. You have a sphere, you have a phone, you have a database, but we don't teach that because we were in such a market then where everybody was making money hand over fist. And now that you have to actually go out and create your own business, they don't want to do that. They think lead gen and I'm generalizing, but lead gen seems like on the surface a very easy way for you to get some business. So they'd rather have something of something than nothing.
Right. And the COVID agents.
It's like the COVID kids. That's a whole nother discussion.
The COVID agents, it's not only the leads. I can go on and on and on about agents that I've met that joined during COVID, and it's not their fault, but they got no training because, couldn't go in person, couldn't be around people, and it was a frenzy. So everybody was just like trying to hold on and keep their life together because you were closing 10 deals a month.
Sure.
And it was just people were just throwing money at us and being like, you know, $100,000 over, let me buy this house. And those agents that came in now are facing a struggle of everything's slowing down. Everything's coming to like almost not a halt, but like it's leveling out. A lot of them are like, oh, the market's crashing. And I'm like, no, this is
totally leveling.
This is leveled out. This is, you know, what a normal market can be like. It's a little bit slower than normal, I would say, but it's not discouraging, but they are confused as to what to do in this market and where to go in terms of how do I get new clients, because you know all the COVID clients are now stuck in their homes because they overpaid.
They don't want to get rid of their 2%
or they don't want to get rid of the 2% interest rate. I mean, I don't blame them. I wouldn't either.
It's it's very strange market to be in, because if you have skills that are outside of being 100% dependent on lead gen from your broker or your team lead, then you're doing fine.
Yeah.
If you have no skills outside of that, then you're struggling and you're not making money. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of agents either not renew their license, or what they're doing is they're taking on part-time and full-time jobs. And so they're becoming a part-time real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a catch-22 for them. And I think the brokers and team leaders aren't, for whatever reason, they're not providing them the access or the education in general so that they can figure out ways. I was on a call today with a team lead, and we were talking about how things like open houses, for him, it was so that's what you did, and he mastered that.
Mm-hmm.
For many agents, they don't even know how to do an open house. They don't understand the value of an open house. They can't get back to basics because they were never trained in the basics.
Right. And that's kind of what I've been specializing in with my agents is, you know, a lot of them don't know how to do it. I had one agent that has been an agent for 3 years and they didn't know how to program showing time properly.
Wow.
And so I had to sit down and explain, you know, it's nothing bad. Like, it's not their fault again.
Right.
You know, it's just the training. But those are things that like I didn't get training on whenever I joined. You know, I know that there's videos out there, you know, MLS, they have like training on it and as well, but people don't know to look for those types of things. Correct. And to try and figure that out. But it's always just a struggle. So for them to figure out things like that do help advance their business. So I like to sit down, but I know not everyone's like that. Not all team leads and brokers and everything, but it is something that we focus on more because anytime an agent meets with me and they're like, well, how many leads do you give me? We have leads that come in, of course, every real estate company does, but we don't rely on paid lead gen services.
Right.
I train them to work their sphere, also figure out new marketing tactics for getting leads. I do teach on how to do, I think I read a statistic, 85% of successful leads come from Facebook marketing.
Sure.
Don't quote me on that. I read it today, actually.
Don't worry.
But it's
Stats
something
are
like
flexible.
that. But it's like 85% of leads come from a Facebook marketing campaign of some kind.
Which agents don't know how to do either.
Correct. And to their understanding, I have struggled with Facebook. Their marketing, whenever you put real estate as like a tagline, it's absolutely crazy the amount of like restrictions that they place on you. And I get that it's because they're trying to stay compliant with the marketing laws and everything, make sure that they're not steering, that no one's being like discriminated against and stuff. But, you know, in some cases, it can be a little bit difficult for agents to navigate that.
Well, they don't know how to navigate a lot. I think vendors like me or mortgage companies, title companies, we try to provide education, but one of my pet peeves in this entire industry right now is that there is so much education offered and realtors absolutely do not show up for it.
Yeah.
I get that they feel overwhelmed, but they're in analysis paralysis. And it really it ticks me off when they say, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, 3 mortgage companies and 10 title companies have offered you training on that. Why
Mhm.
don't you know how to do that? Or why haven't you gone to any of those? And so they just sit and hope for the best and do what they did in 2020, I'll say, when everybody was making money. And now they don't know what class to go to, so they don't go to any.
Yeah.
And their brokers can't even get them to a team meeting. So I feel like the realtors in general right now
You're
are
calling me
just
out.
I am no you no it's
I know,
everybody.
I
You
know.
it really is, and I don't know what the disconnect is. Why you wouldn't want to go to a training that your brokerage, especially your brokerage, if you don't want to go outside people, great. Whatever your preference is. But if your broker is constantly offering you education, and out of the 30 agents that the broker has or the team lead has, 4 show up consistently, it's very difficult to understand why realtors are bitching and moaning about not being able to move a listing or get buyers or get listings.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. But I mean that is something as you're a coach, mentor,
Yes.
and I've been to a lot of your stuff. One of the things that I hear people almost every single time mention is how do I get clients? And
Yes.
so what kind of I don't know what kind of struggles would you say that they face in their marketing plans or I guess openness? Because I feel like a lot of people think that there's a set way to get leads,
And there's not.
and there isn't. And
No.
so I think that's what I run into a lot of times with people is they're like, "Oh, I can't figure this out. You know, why am I well, you're a soccer mom, like your kid plays soccer.
Right.
Have you taken snacks? Have you given little like treat
Correct.
bags? Like, how often?" So I feel like I don't know if you experience that, but I feel like sometimes they're just not tapping into it and then they're not listening. They're going to the classes and they're
Correct.
not listening.
No, I feel like my experience is, especially when I'm coaching, the first thing that I try to get them away from is you have to spend a ton of money to generate leads. They're not working their sphere. They're not working their soccer mom friends or their friends at work or whatever, their church, their organizations that they belong to and go to. And instead, they just want to write a check and hope they get all these amazing leads because that's a passive way. That to me is a lackadaisical approach to getting any kind of lead gen in. When instead, what they should be doing, like you mentioned, is you already have this giant sphere of people. Just look at your phone, look at your contacts. You have this sphere and they don't want to reach out to people. There's a fear of reaching out to their sphere, and the reason is because well, somebody else probably did it. Well, then why didn't you do it? I can't figure out what the hurt or the pain point is to actually reaching out to a friend that you saw last week and reminding them that I'm in real estate. If you know anybody, let me know. There's a difference between in your face. You and I both know realtors who have in your face kind of approach. Everything's a damn business card, and they're going to
Yep.
shove their business card in your face. I understand why lenders and realtors have a bad reputation because we're constantly pushing. We're not developing relationships. We're not
Yeah.
building relationships. And that's what your sphere is about. So it's easier to cut a check for most people than to actually do the basic work of contacting the people you already know.
Yeah. From a recruitment standpoint, anytime somebody, comes in and they're like, "Oh, well, such and such has offered me, this lead, this many leads and this kind of training and this and that." And one of the things that I pose to them and something that, you should pose to to anybody that you're interviewing like a broker is where are those leads coming from? How
Right.
qualified are they? What is the percentage that you're taking? So don't just get excited when you hear something about leads.
Mhm.
Just ask questions, be more inquisitive because a lot of times I hear a lot of people going, "Well, they promised me all of these leads and that's why I went with them." Don't base your brokerage off of just leads.
No.
There's so much more to a brokerage than just that, but it's also learning and educating on how to, learn your sphere and how to work it Which brings me to a question I'm going to ask you.
Oh, wow. If you can see his face, this looks good.
So I recruit, right? But how do you get clients for your coaching side of things? Because I will tell you, I don't just go to your events. I go to a lot of events, and there are some coaches out there that aren't even never worked in real estate world at all, and like
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to have a sip of my drink for this one. Keep going.
And there's some misguidance that happens there, that I've been privy to, where they give bad advice on how to work your sphere and leads and stuff like that. And I've heard one person say, don't use your CRM. And I'm like, a CRM is a powerful tool. Obviously, you've got to be careful because your broker does have access to it and all of the leads. But as long as your broker isn't trying to poach your clients and stuff, then it can really help. But my point to that is, how do real estate agents or, other people that are trying to like find a mentor coach, what questions and things should they watch out for?
Well, you brought up the number one point, which is if you haven't been in an industry and you're coaching it, I think that from my experience, that is a bad move. And I say that to mean if you want to coach for basketball and that person's never picked up a basketball, would you really want them to be your coach? I think a lot of people a lot of coaches look for a particular arena that they want to go in because they see that those people need it. And so maybe in the beginning, it's a very altruistic approach to things. But at the end of the day, if you're taking advice from someone who hasn't been in the trenches, I feel like that's a huge mistake. And there's a lot of coaches out there that do this. They promote this bit. You feel good when you go to their event, but the substance of what they're coaching you on, they don't understand what you're doing, and it doesn't matter what business you're in: real estate, lending, insurance. Pick an industry. If your person that you're coaching with hasn't done what you are trying to do and hasn't lived in your world, then I don't understand how they can give you insights. There's a common denominator, there's a common human element, but at the end of the day, if I can't understand what you, Ben, as a broker owner are going through, if I can't understand what's happening in the real estate market because I've lived it and bled it and dealt with it, then I don't know how I'm going to give you any advice that is specific enough for you to progress. And so I feel like there's a lot of coaches out there who give a lot of ethereal bad advice. And so when I'm coaching someone, I know the markets because I've touched on a lot of markets, but I'm not going out trying to coach a doctor. I'm not trying to go out and coach a sports person. I'm going out trying to coach industries that I know: real estate, lending, insurance, startups. I've done all of that. I've lived it, and I've got dirty nails to prove it. Well, not right now, but dirty nails in general. If you have a coach who isn't doing that, then I would absolutely wonder why you would want to engage them. So that was a great question.
Yeah, my biggest thing with them not being, and it's not just coaches, it's really anyone, being a startup ourselves, we're 2 years into it now. It's challenging whenever you get somebody like a marketing person,
right,
and they're trying to do marketing for you, and it can be a struggle because they don't necessarily understand, oh no, you can't do that, that's against the marketing laws.
Correct.
And I see it every day. There's real estate signs out there, there's all kinds of like material that's being put out there, there's videos and everything, where at least in the state of Florida and a couple other states I'm licensed in, you have to have your real estate logo or name at least on there greater than or equal to the size of your name.
Correct.
And, and I see a lot of like such and such, is showing a home or something. and they don't credit the listing agent, and they didn't get permission from the listing agent to show it.
Yes.
So there's a lot of stuff that's happening right now, and there's a lot of catty agents out there that are reporting
There's
them.
so many catty agents, but they get tired of following the rules when they see other people not following the rules.
But in back to the coaching thing, it's just I've sat in on so many, and I've heard that. I've heard them say things that I'm like, oh, hold on, you can't do that in real estate. Like that's not legal.
I heard one coach, a real estate coach, and that's the only clue I'll give you. He talked about for an hour, his struggle with addiction. And I thought, okay, maybe if I came to that event to be inspired in general, but these are paying clients who are in real estate, who are listening to someone talk about addiction for an hour or an hour and a half. And there was no real segue. There was no, okay, so this is why I'm sharing this with you, and here's how you apply it, and I can help you with your business. It was just a share of his story and journey, which outside of real estate, I'd be motivated. I thought it was an inspirational story, but it meant absolutely nothing to a paying client. So people are hitching themselves, so to speak, to a coach, specifically maybe because they think they're good at what they do, or maybe they've got a following, or maybe they made them feel a certain way. But at the end of the day, that almost never converts to a successful coach and mentor, a mentee relationship, because you're not giving them anything that's feeding their business. And so, I'm a big believer in you have to have put the work in to understand so that you can give real advice that helps people.
That's great.
Thank you.
I agree.
Great question.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, in this industry, you got to align yourself with the proper people to make sure that they're also just looking out for you.
Well, I think and let's talk about that, because as a vendor in this real estate world, for example, I'm always up against other vendors who are spending money in a way that is not legal. I'm always up against vendors who are taking advantage of the system and putting the realtors at risk that they're doing business with, because what they're doing is not compliant. And so building the relationships, I like the relationships, and I've been cutting toxicity out of my life. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. And this year I'm just bound and determined to get as much of it out of my life as possible. So I'm really focusing on the people that I'm aligned with. And sometimes that means I'm not aligned with the people who are taking tons of money from their vendors, so their vendors can be one of the people they send a lead to. I want to build a relationship. I don't want to have a vendor relationship. I want to have a real relationship. And so, but because there's so many of me who are out there cutting big checks, it's a challenge. But I feel like what's for me is for me. And I think a lot of other vendors are kind of figuring that out too.
Yeah, for sure. So what you got going on? Start of summer.
Are you? Yeah, I'm excited for summer. Yeah. It's hot as balls out there. But I'm excited. Stacy's off for the summer, and I think we're going away for a little bit next week. And then, but I'm it's an easier pace in the summer, I feel.
It is, yeah. I feel like it being in Florida, it's of course way hotter in the summer.
So hot.
But it's like our winter. So like I like to travel. When I lived up north, I would always travel in the winter. So, we're going to North Carolina Outer Banks for a week with the family. I'm going to shave my legs, lay on the beach for a week.
Shave your legs.
Shave my legs.
Why are we shaving our legs? I have to know.
I'm a gay man. I hate hair. I mean, and it's summer. I mean, I like.
Well, when you get to be my age, the hair just leaves on its own.
I hope I can afford laser hair.
So you won't. You won't have any hair at that point, but that'll be 80 years from now.
I don't know, Ted. I'm pretty hairy.
Oh, listen. So I'm Italian, and there's hardly any hair on my legs left, which is so weird.
I think I'm Irish and British.
You look
Is that
Irish.
the same thing? Irish
Pretty
and
close.
British.
Same thing.
Yeah.
How about, so you have plans to travel, see family?
Yeah. We're gonna go see family for a week at the Outer Banks of a beach house there, so it's gonna be fun.
Nice.
Then we're going to DC for a week. Help my in-laws out.
Nice.
My mother-in-law with something.
Good.
Yeah. Nothing else though. I think. Yeah, I think I might squeeze in a few more trips in the summer. I don't know.
Good for
Florida's got a lot of places we can go. So
Yeah, I just, after this trip, I think we're gonna just enjoy the calm.
you have a pool, don't you?
I do.
Okay, well, there
And
you
that's
go.
why, like, I can just go to my pool and I have a refrigerator on the deck and we can just have a drink from there.
Yeah, sadly we don't have a pool. We just moved, but it's brand new, so there's construction everywhere. Construction dust, construction equipment, nails that keep
I
getting.
can't wait to come over for this amazing dinner I hear about. And
Yeah,
I've already enjoyed your food at Christmas. You had a holiday party.
I did. Yeah,
Which was truly the most classy holiday party at someone's house I think I've been to in a very long time, because you had real glasses and you had different glasses for the different drinks.
Oh yeah,
It's such a small detail, but such an important detail. I wasn't drinking out of a red Solo cup, which was really awesome.
That was all my bartender. He's a good friend of mine. He flew in from Ohio to do that for me.
It was
he
a beautiful,
absolutely
and your
loved it.
food was delicious.
Yeah, I just had a big gay party over the weekend.
A big gay
A
party.
big gay party for Gay Days. It's
That's
an
right.
event here in Orlando.
Yes.
Yeah, we just did a little. It was a big gay party, but but I did some different appetizers. I think I'll be debuting at the Christmas party this year.
What was it that I had to get? I brought a recipe home, or you sent me
my peanut butter balls?
Oh my God. I need some of those in my life.
I was gonna make them for the party this time, but I didn't have time. I was gonna
Stacey
make
and
them
I still
rainbow.
talk about those.
They're
They
so
were
good.
Unbelievable.
I'll make you some.
Oh,
sometime.
okay, wonderful.
He likes my
Thank
balls.
you. Thank you for taking the hint.
Yeah, no, they were great. But yeah, and anything else new happening?
No, I'm just got lots going on in the business world. You know, I launched my crypto company. I launched about to launch the insurance agency. I have a lot on my plate, but not complaining. It's all good stuff. Lots and lots of good stuff.
Lots coming.
I just get to have champagne and hopefully look pretty, and then somebody else does all the hard work.
Sounds right. Sounds right. I need that in my life. So it's that time of the podcast.
My favorite time.
It's time for the real tea.
Ooh, I like that. Can I transition to the real tea? Let's cheers.
Cheers.
I love our directors and producers
tea.
in the back there. They're
Our
amazing.
I got a juicy one today.
I don't know where we're going, but please share.
So in every industry, there are bullies, I would say, right? Yeah.
Yes.
You know where I'm going with this, probably.
I do.
So I encountered a bully this week that was trying to bully one of my agents, and it was over commission. Like, didn't we just get into a big lawsuit about this?
Yes.
And so, this agent submitted an offer. It was a decent offer, but his commission was 3%. And the seller was not comfortable with that and countered at like 2.5. I can't remember the exact number. And, and he was like, he got all upset at my agent because she was like, well, she's not going to accept that commission. Would you be willing to do 2.5? And first of all, offer was written wrong because in additional terms, they put buyer agrees to pay 6%, or sorry, seller agrees to pay 6% of buyer's closing costs, which would be fine. And so then they would be responsible for their agent's commission if you write it like that.
Right.
Because then that's between the buyer and the buyer's agent. But then he checked off seller compensation form and then sent a seller to buyer broker compensation form. And on that, he was asking for 3%. So if I was a legal person, which I'm not a lawyer, but if I was looking at the contract in court and was reviewing that, I would say, oh, you're asking for 9%, 6% closing costs.
Right.
But my agent was smart enough to decipher that, that wasn't the case, and that he was wanting 3% for him and 3% for the buyers, which, is typical in this market for closing costs,
right.
With the sellers. And so he calls me and he's like, I got to talk to you about your agent. And I'm like, oh, I already knew the situation because they had already told me this. And they said,
I can already tell this guy has LDE.
Can you say that on the podcast?
Little dick energy. Yes, I can.
This film is explicit. No. So anyways, he starts out the conversation with, I got to talk to you about your agent. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. He's trying to get her in trouble. And so I know full well the emails and everything that's been transpiring. She shared them with me. And so we go into conversation about it. And he's like, she's pushing back on my commission and that's not her place and like this and that. And I'm like, well, no, it is her place because she speaks to the sellers. Proceeded to tell me that his clients were going to go out and hand deliver the offer because he did not think that, or they did not think that she was giving the offer to the buyers, right? Or to the sellers. And which I knew she did because I see the receipts in my system and that she sent the offer to them. And timely manner, nothing out of the ordinary. But the sellers wanted time to think on it. And then they countered back at the 2.5.
Sure.
Sellers like fine with whatever for the buyer's commission. They just didn't want to pay 2.5%. And, the reasoning behind it did not matter. If a seller's not willing to pay it, that's what that whole freaking lawsuit was about.
That's correct.
Like, how many times do we have to get in trouble for this? And that's fine. Like, if you don't want to take that deal, go back to your clients and be like, hey, they're only offering me 2.5. We signed an agreement for 3. You owe me 0.5%.
Correct.
Take it out of the 3% in closing costs that you're getting from them.
Correct.
And so, but they didn't want to do that. And so he's on this call with me, and I pushed back and I explained all of that to him. And I said what I could. I didn't reveal anything about our clients because, it's not my place to. But I defended her and I said, no, this is not what transpired. You're lying. You're trying to get her in trouble. And, so they countered the next day. He said, here are your 3 options. Like the seller or the buyer countered the seller, and he said, here are your 3 options. And it was very demanding, and like those were the only options that they could accept. And so the seller was like, no, I'm okay. She literally said, I do not want to work with this person anymore. Mm-hmm. Appreciate their time, but I don't feel comfortable with this deal anymore. And so they walked away. But then the next day, he submits it. Like she texted and and said, hey, just wanted to let you know, I'll email you later, but the seller's withdrawing, is not interested anymore. They wish your clients the best of luck. Followed it up with an email. He responded to both the text and the email and says, thanks, good luck. The next morning, it was in her inbox, the counteroffer that our sellers had signed. And he said, oh, we're under contract now. And I said, no. So I jumped on it. I told her, I said, let me handle this.
Yep.
And so I called and I said, no, we notified you last night. And I gave the timestamps and everything and said, we are not under contract. That is unacceptable. And I said, if you want to file a complaint, I said, go for it. I said, because I have everything documented and I have the as-is contract that you did not fill out correctly. And I have all of these things. And I said, so if you want to file a complaint, I said, go for it. I'm ready. Because I am so tired of people like threatening to file complaints just to get their way because they think people are scared. Like people hear complaints and they're like, oh no, I don't want to get in trouble. Like,
what's this guy's production? I'm always curious about that.
I actually don't know because I didn't look. I should look it up. I still have his information.
You know what I think of him?
Little dick energy.
Teeny weeny.
But I just...
People like that just aggravate me so bad because they're used to intimidating. So can you imagine what they're like during a transaction? Can you imagine what they're like at home? I mean, those kind of people know you. I'm glad that you pushed back on
Well,
him.
I was wondering, I'm like, did he even tell his clients about all of these
Probably
counters?
not.
Because the counters were about his commission.
Yeah, probably.
But that's
not.
also why we don't put commission on as his contract, because
Right.
it's outside of that. That contract is between the buyer and the seller. There is an addendum section that you select for your commission. If your buyer's paying for your commission, that's fine. You can write 3% buyer's closing costs. That goes to their closing end of the deal. We don't care where that money goes. If they ask for 3% and the seller agrees to it, then that's up to you to pay for that
Right.
out of your closing costs.
Correct.
Between the buyer.
I'm glad you stood up,
But,
because
yeah.
a lot of times brokers, team leads, it's a challenge for them to stand up. It's important for you to stand up for your agent.
Yeah, and I mean, it's scary. I mean, obviously there's so
course.
many like laws and everything out there that you want to make sure that you're not misspeaking, but I had texted an attorney and said, "Hey, can he do
Good.
that?" And the attorney was like, "No, if you've notified that you've withdrawn everything, then
Good.
they can't."
Thank
do that.
God.
So
Let him file a complaint.
But yeah, but then the next day we got another offer and it was even better. So
Good. Good.
yeah, so she's happy.
That was meant to be.
Yeah, so she was happy. Her sellers were happy, and
Nobody wants to deal with
the
that in a
agent was very
transaction.
friendly. I spoke to her myself
Oh,
because
isn't that
she called the
nice?
office line accidentally, and but she was a lovely real estate agent.
That's what you want. You want those relationships, because you never know when you're going to be on the other end of a transaction
Yeah.
with someone. And
I'm just
so-
glad it worked out for the sellers. too, 'cause
bullies.
they
We
were-
all hate bullies.
Yeah, I had enough of them in my life.
All right. So here's my realty. My realty is a behavior that I'm seeing a lot more, and I'm dealing with a few people right now who exhibit it. People don't know how to use punctuation. And I'm going to talk about this. So punctuation meaning, and they're lazy. So that's another reason why I'm also meeting them with their level of energy and they don't like it. So it's kind of all combined. So I'm a big believer in, when I reach out to you, I'm going to ask how you are, going to be friendly. If I wish you a happy birthday, it's going to be legit. It's going to be real. It's going to be from the heart. If I ask you about a buyer that you've sent me, if I reach out to a client, I feel like we've lost in our industry, especially, the ability to communicate in a way that's friendly. And so the last week or so, I don't know why it's really pissed me off, but I've been getting a lot of people who are obviously testing my boundaries, being tested. For example, I kept dealing with this one particular agent, and the agent was very short in all of their communication with me. So I thought
you meant they were short. I'm like, that's not nice. I'm just
no,
kidding.
that's another pet peeve discussion we'll talk about later. But they were short in their discussion with me, so I thought, all right, I'm not going to put any energy in, because they wouldn't know an exclamation point if it killed them. They wouldn't know a complete sentence if they killed them, and they certainly wouldn't know how to emote in an excited way about an amazing deal that we are closing if it killed them. And so I just sent them back the exact same response that they sent to me. And they lost their mind. They literally lost their mind. They're like, I don't know why you have to be like that, Ted. And I go, what am I like?
What?
And so I said, what did I do? And they go, well, here, you just put okay. And I go, I know, but those, I showed them, I took a snapshot. These are your last 4 responses to me. Okay, okay, okay. So I'm just meeting you where you're at. I know, but that's not you. I go, I know, but I'm not going to expend my energy to meet you or to give you the stuff that I'd rather save it for somebody who meets me where I need to be or where I want to be. So I have engaged that a lot lately, and I don't understand how we've gotten away from a basic kindness and interacting with people in a human way that isn't so robotic.
Right.
And I know you can be in a bad mood, or you can be busy, or you can be driving and texting, or driving and speaking. But it's the same people, pet peeve again on Facebook. If it's my birthday and all you do is click the thing that's automatic there and put happy birthday and there's no exclamation points or balloons or whatever, I'm going to encourage you not to even wish me a happy birthday because it's just lazy and it is not personal. And I feel like I don't want to be around people who aren't invested in building a relationship with me. So I have been really pushing back, and people have been. She's not the only person, or that person's not the only person who pushed back on me. A lot of other people have pushed back on me too, and they're like, "Wait, what did I do wrong?" I'm like, "I'm just answering in the way that you've been answering me for the last week." So yeah, it's a pet peeve of mine. It's not that hard to hit the exclamation point. It's not that hard to put a smiley face. If you're a dude and you're afraid of emojis, that's for a whole nother. I'll analyze you and what you're missing in your life. But I feel like people need to 100% emote. Be excited. If we're closing a deal, be excited about it. If I say happy Monday, how are you? And you just text me back, okay, then I'm first going to ask you if you're all right. I do that. You know that.
You do.
But then if you go, yeah, why? I'm going to be like, oh my God. So yeah, I'm going to push back. So pet peeve of the week.
That's funny.
Or what are we calling it?
I still use the real tea.
The real tea of the week.
So I still use back to your emoji comment. I still use the colon with the.
Oh, you still do the colon?
I still do the colon.
Well, if you're typing, something.
It's because sometimes I'll hit that damn emoji button. And it goes to like the what is like the new thing where it's like it's like an avatar of
I'm not doing my own.
I don't want them, but like you'll hit the emoji button and then you'll like go to like history.
I look like somebody's high school counselor on there. It's so bad, and nobody's going to dress me like this on there. So
you need to have Stacy do it.
I know they don't have they want you to pay for the clothes. That could be a whole.
Oh, they do?
Yes, you have to pay for the extra if you want that.
Oh my
God.
I
don't want that. First, that's a whole nother.
Are you talking Snapchat?
No, I'm talking about on Facebook whenever you text message, you want to do an emoji.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just get mad.
Emoji. I don't know what.
Because I'll go to hit the history one because I used like the same like 20 emojis.
Can I also say one pet peeve? Not that I haven't already.
Was it about me?
No. It's about people who use their created avatar on social media for everything.
Oh
and it doesn't, I'm sorry, I want to tell you, it doesn't look like you.
Have you seen the new baby one?
It really looks bad. Yeah, so that's a video, but I'm talking
about... I know, but it's creepy because Eileen, I'm going to call her out. Eileen did it. And then she did it. It was funny.
It's so funny.
It was funny because she did it like a house tour. And it's like a little baby. And it's like, today on, we're looking at this 3-bedroom and it's a little baby. And it caught me, obviously, because I was watching it.
That's the whole point. It catches
But I'm like, oh my God, this is getting
creepy. At least she knows she's not a baby. Some of these people actually really haven't looked in a mirror for a long time because they haven't seen how they don't look like their avatar. They don't look like it at all. And all I can think of is, wow, I'm happy for you that you have the confidence that you think you look like that. But what I really want you to do is evaluate and use normal emojis like the rest of us. So there you go.
You got the production crew cracking.
Sorry. Oh, don't get me started we could do a whole show on etiquette on social media.
Yeah. A couple of shows on etiquette. But, anyways, this has been fun.
It's been fun always.
So where can they find you, Ted?
You can find me on all social media platforms under my name, Ted Bogert, or The Ted Show. You can search Linktree for Ted Bogert, and you can find all of my links, everything you could ever want to know about me there.
What's your website?
My website is, well, this is Linktree. So go to Linktree and search for Ted Bogert. It's easy.
Did you used to have a site called Ted Goes Hard?
I did. That's a whole nother discussion. Oh, geez. Oh, that one too. It's a tough crowd. Or it's a hard crowd. I don't know what's going on.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
Ted.
so much.
Again, I'm Benjamin Maynard with Pixel Realty. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you have a great day. Cheers.
Yay, cheers.